Thanks for staying with us on Midday. We're going to get serious here now. I know we talk about a lot of light things a lot of the time, but it is a pressing problem here and across the nation. Just last week, a 16-year-old was found in the back of a U-Haul near central Kentucky. Now in Louisville, it's Derby week and thousands of people will be there for the races and all the various festivities. And huge events like those sometimes afford more opportunities than we would like for women and men to be sold. Here to tell us more on what we can do to prevent this from happening is Julan from UnShackled by Love. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Amber. We're so excited every time you guys have us on.
No, you give us such great information that a lot of people are unaware. We hear it on the news, we may see it in newspapers, but we don't ever think it can happen where we live or to us.
Right. What's so interesting is that it is becoming more on the news. You know, last week, as you said, this recent event of this 16-year-old that was found in the back of a U-Haul. So it got lots of attention. But the sad thing is that it happens every single day because human trafficking is the second organized crime in the United States. And so we want to bring more awareness to this second organized crime that is happening across the country every single day, not only to women, but also to young boys and girls and to grown men as well.
Which people don't even think about.
Exactly.
You know, before we get into how to prevent it, a lot of people are confused exactly what trafficking is.
Okay. Trafficking is actually where someone is dominating someone else and they are selling them for a gain in a sexual activity. Also, there's labor trafficking as well, to where horse farms right here in central Kentucky, right? There are a lot of immigrants that people will bring in and they will labor traffic them. They will literally provide them maybe food or shelter or limited amount of food, but they are literally working them over amount of hours and they're not paying them for the labor that they deserve.
So there's a very broad definition.
Yes.
And you know, on social media, a lot of the times parents will share stories of their kid almost being abducted at a store or abducted down the street.
Yes.
Are these victims usually abducted? Is it their own free will? What's going on here?
Both. In the United States, what we are finding is more their free will. They get caught up in the wrong thing at the wrong time. We actually did an interview with a young lady last week in Washington, D.C., who's 20 years old, who needed money to be able to pay her rent. She had gotten an apartment. She was over her head. She ended up going to a party, and they literally lured her into a back room, and she's seen all this money all over the bedroom, right? So it was very enticing for her. She would have the funds that she needed to be able to keep her apartment. Before she knew it, she said that they took her to a different place, a different location, and literally started forcing her to sell her body to be able to bring in the money.
Sure, so they put that glitter out there,
Absolutely.
and it's definitely not gold in this case.
Absolutely.
You know, I hate to point out the Derby because I don't want to put a negative connotation on anything like that, but any kind of big event where there's money being spent, there's people coming in, is a breeding ground for this to happen.
Yes.
Tell us
Super
about
Bowl
that.
was just recently, of course, in Atlanta. So huge human trafficking. We work with organizations there. A lot of human trafficking went on at the Super Bowl, not only in Atlanta, but every Super Bowl. So we've also been able to target that the Derby, any big event like the Derby, it's not only at the Derby, but in the hotels. So we want to bring awareness to say, be aware of things like branding, men, young girls, men literally following behind them. They're not making eye contact. They're malnutritioned. You can pretty much point it out, and when you see this happening, not only at the Derby per se, but at this hotels, call the hotline and report it. It's better to report something that maybe isn't there than not to report it at all.
Sure.
Because a lot of these victims, we're never seeing them again.
Sure, and we have that hotline number on our screen. Does this happen more at the affluent parties? Does it happen kind of in the areas? You know what I mean? Is it higher money areas, low? Is there any kind of section, or is it non-discriminational?
It's non-discriminational, believe it or not.
So look everywhere.
So look everywhere, in any facet, in any area. And of course we know money talks, right?
Sure.
So if you have more money, the more that's going to go on. And they also dominate them a lot by, drugging them up, giving them drugs, luring them with certain items, a really nice purse, a really nice shoes, a nice place to stay. So money talks, but it happens everywhere.
Now, let me ask you, where are the men and women who are purchasing these victims? Where are they getting their information?
Social media.
So how do we look out for that?
Well, there is some sites. I would rather not mention them.
Right.
But on social media, there are some sites to literally where they sell them
Okay, so this
still.
is set
Yes.
up. It's not
It is
something
set up.
that's just dropped into
Yes.
our social media feed that we may notice and can look out for.
Yes.
Okay, so once we call this hotline, is there anything else we can do? Should we step in and try and stop
No,
it?
call the hotline.
Okay, so stay out of it. Don't try to get
Yes.
physical because I'm
Oh,
sure,
absolutely not.
like you said, money
Yes,
talks,
yes.
violence can happen.
Call the 1-800-888 hotline 373, I think, 7888.
Okay, and your organization helps a lot of these victims.
do.
How do we get a hold of you?
Yes, you can contact us via phone number or our webpage. Our phone number is 859-509-6421, or you can go to our webpage, www.unshackledbylove.org, and we provide a safe house for women to be able to receive therapy and rehabilitation coming out of human trafficking and substance abuse up to 2 years.
And you do. We've talked to so many
Yes.
women who are in your program currently, and the work you do is phenomenal.
Thank you.
We appreciate every time you come on Midday. Thank you so much for those tips. Just stay aware. That's kind of the big
Stay
thing,
aware.
right?
Use your eyes, take a look at what's around you, and report it.
Good advice. Thank you
Yes.
so much
Thank
for being
you.
here. We appreciate it. Stay with us Midday. We'll be right back.